Today, while we create our rainbow wall hanging, we're going to need a circle template, a popsicle stick, a toothpick, and a little bit of water. Now to get started, we'll take our small little slab of clay. We're going to start by cutting out our circle by laying it on our clay and using our toothpick straight up and down to go and trace around the circle template to create a nice circle that we can use. I like to take the little clay boogies, as I call them, off my toothpick when it starts to build up. That helps me keep cutting my clay a little easier, and I can use that clay again. Once I got my circle cut out, I'm going to take the extra off and set it to the side because we'll use it later. Then I want to take just a little bit of water on the tip of my finger and smooth out the edges of my clay circle that I cut out. This helps to create nice smooth edges instead of rough and bumpy edges. After I smooth out the edges on one side of my circle, I want to flip my clay over and I want to smooth out the edges on the other side of my circle as well. Remember that if it's too hard to kind of smooth out, you can add just a little bit of water on your finger. Notice I'm only sticking the end of one of my fingers in the water so that way I'm not adding too much water and it gets really muddy. Once I've got my edges smoothed out, I'm going to take my toothpick and I'm going to very carefully write my name on the back of my piece. I'm not pushing all the way through. I'm just barely pressing in so you can see my name. And then I want to flip my clay back over so my name is on the back of my piece. Now that we've got our circle cut out and we've used a little bit of water to smooth out our edges and have our name on it, we're going to take our toothpick and start creating the lines of the rainbow on our circle. I'm going to follow the outside edge of my circle to create that line. Now, if I mess up a little bit and I don't like the line I created, I can use just a little bit of water on the end of my finger to smooth it out and redraw that line. That's another reason that we do not want to push really hard with our toothpick and be drawing all the way through our clay. If we go all the way through our clay, it's going to create holes and it's going to be harder to patch it up. I'm going to follow along. I've got enough lines for red, orange, yellow, and I got to keep going until I can get blue, green, and purple on there as well. So I'm going to keep drawing my rainbow lines in a row until I have enough for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Remember, if I create part of a line that I don't like very much, I can just very gently smooth it out with a little bit of water. Take your time and don't press too hard with your toothpick. Now that I've got all of my rainbow lines drawn in and I made sure I have enough for all the colors of my rainbow, I'm going to take my scrap clay and I'm going to start pinching off some pieces that I'm going to use to create the clouds underneath the rainbow. I want to try to make all of my clouds about the same size, so I'm going to try and rip off pieces that are about the same size. If I rip off too many and I don't use them all, that's okay, but I've got them all ready to go. Once I've got them all ripped off, I'm going to roll my clay into a ball and I'm going to flatten it just a little bit and I'm going to stick it on my clay and spread the bottom part down. When I spread my clay out and blend it, it's going to help connect the clay to the other piece of clay just a little bit better, make a stronger bond. I'm going to keep adding my clay pieces, and they're going to end up overlapping and creating what looks like a fluffy cloud. So take those small pieces of clay, roll it into a ball, and flatten it just a little bit, and then spread the bottom edge of that little ball of clay out so it is connected to the big circle of clay really, really well. And then we know it's not going to fall off. I'm going to keep adding all of my little circles of clay and fill in the whole bottom part of my clay circle with my little cloud spots, and it gives it some really cool texture of the clouds, feeling like they are bumpy and fluffy, and then you've got a cool rainbow on a cloud. Make sure you smooth out the bottom part so it's connected really, really well. Once I've got all my pieces on and smoothed on, I'm going to take all of my extra clay that I pulled aside and my big ball of clay, and I'm going to roll it into a nice ball. I don't want to play with it because I don't want it to dry out. I'm going to roll it into a nice ball so that way I can recycle it and reuse the rest of the clay for another project. I'm going to double check that I have my rainbow colors, and when you turn it in, I will poke 2 holes at the top so we can string a piece of yarn through it to hang up. After it's dried, we'll come back and paint our rainbow colors and our clouds, and then you have a beautiful rainbow clay wall hanging that you get to take home and hang up.